If your partner has recently joined an outlaw motorcycle club, keep watching because I'm about to give you some advice on how to make this transition a lot easier for the both of you. First and foremost, we actually used to talk about this when I was in the club. Do not ever give your man an ultimatum that it's you or the club, because 9 times out of 10, he is going to choose the club. Now, we always used to say, we're going to choose the one that didn't give us the ultimatum and force us to do something that we didn't want to do. The second most important thing is you have to remember that you are not in the club. Your partner is in the club. Now, this is a very, very important thing to make because a lot of the women that hang around clubs tend to overstep, and this actually makes your partner look very, very bad. Never ever say, my partner's a bikie and so and so and so. That will also get him in a lot of trouble, and yourself. Now, just on that, I know that it's an exciting time. You're just starting to hang around the club as well. You're making friends with all the girls. You're building this community. It's all us against the world. However, it's important to remember that you actually aren't in the club. So if anything goes bad between you and your partner, there is a good chance that all the women are going to side with him, and you'll be left with this huge void of just having nothing and being dropped like a hot potato. So it's very, very important to keep your own friends, your own hobbies and everything outside of the club as well, just in case this does happen. And I know that you're watching this video saying, that'll never happen to me, but it happens to more people more often than not. Now, in clubs, especially on the girls' side, there is always a lot of bitching, for lack of a better word. So the more involved you do get, the more chances there are of you being involved in this. So that is something to be aware of as well, because it definitely does happen. So just try and remain neutral and don't get involved in that sort of stuff. The more you actually stay out of that, the more the other brothers will respect you, and in turn they'll respect your partner even more for him choosing a decent partner. Now, this is always a nice touch, not essential, but a very, very nice touch, and I know the brothers really, really respect it. If you and your husband have a conversation or something like that, and another brother comes up and wants to have a chat with him, just excuse yourself and let them have their conversation. I'm sure if it's nothing, he'll tell you later on, but maybe it is something that you're not meant to hear. And in that case, don't ask. There's a good chance that it probably is nothing. But it is a boys' club at the end of the day. If you do want to put a little bit of a cherry on top and have all his brothers talking about how awesome you are as well, after you do excuse yourself politely, take notice of what the other brother's drinking, go and order 2 drinks, take it up to them both, and then just walk away quite nicely. This does get talked about, and men just like being appreciated. That's pretty much all we want at the end of the day. And this is just one of those things that men keep in their memory. Oh, I remember when she did that. She's a really good sort. Now, at first, when you start hanging around, do not take offense to the women and the men not paying you much attention. In motorcycle clubs, especially if you're just going down the clubhouse and sitting around, remember how many people they see come in and out. People leave, people join, people leave, people join, people get kicked out. People come and go fairly often. So it gets to a point as well, why should I even bother getting to know this person only for them to leave again? That's usually on the woman's side. On the men's side, it's shown as a little bit of a respect for your partner. They'll often ask permission. Hey, can I talk to your missus at the start? Because most cases they won't. And that's just a thing that men in bike clubs do, unless you've been around for a very, very long time. Don't take offense to it at all. Do not repeat anything that you hear. That should pretty much go without saying. Don't touch your partner's club colours. That's a no-no. Always be polite and respectful, and try not to get white girl wasted, because it really, really reflects poorly on your partner if you just act like a child. And in a place that's all dominated by respect, this sort of thing goes a long way. So respect the clubhouse, respect the events you go to. Yeah, don't make him look bad. Now, another thing I just thought of, when you're going to take photos in the clubhouse or anywhere for that matter, if there is another member's face in the photo, ask before you can post it. This is very, very important. Always ask permission. And especially if it's in the clubhouse or anything like that, make sure you ask permission from the sergeant if you're allowed to post something that's from the clubhouse. But on general, on a run or anything like that, make sure you've got the people in the photos permission before you post it. Now, a lot of clubs will have a property of patch that they do let the partners wear. A lot of countries, especially here in Australia, the women don't want to wear that because it's seen as like, I'm not an object to be owned. The patch does not mean you're an object getting owned. It's giving you that little bit more of notoriety than just another person that's hanging, another female that's hanging around the club. Like, girlfriends won't get that. It's for wives to show that they are something a little bit extra than just other girls hanging around the club. And it's just letting other people know that you're protected by the club. It's not saying you're a piece of property, even though it does say property. A lot of people get the wrong idea behind that patch, but how it's perceived and how it's intended is two totally different things. It's a sign of love and respect, actually. Now, this one actually goes for the men as well. But if you go around to a brother's house because, well, for whatever reason, you might be meeting your partner there for whatever reason. If your partner isn't there, something that they used to do in the old days is you don't go in the house. Say, no worries, I'll just call back later when my husband's here. Or something like that. That just stops anything getting misconstrued, and it stops anything from getting looked bad, and it gives nobody an opportunity to gossip about anything, because gossip definitely does happen, and it's something you want to stay absolutely clear of. And on that note, if a brother comes around to your house and your partner isn't home, there is a good chance he's going to offer to wait outside, or he'll offer to call back when he's home. He won't come in. Again, don't take offense to that. It's showing his respect for his brother. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Now, I can't believe I'm actually going to say this next part, but if you do like a bit of that, do not follow people into the room all the time to get a free one. Because it will make you look very bad, and it will make your partner look very bad, and it will be talked about. Yeah, just don't be the meerkat, always looking for the free one. It's not a good look. And like I said, try and stay as coherent as you can as possible. It'll do you both the world of good. Lastly, but not least, I would advise seeing a psychologist. As in all my posts, I'm all about the mental health side of things, and there is a reason people hang out with motorcycle clubs and like that life, and not always, but sometimes there usually is an underlying reason for that. And I think it's important that everybody in general should see a psychologist anyway, but things do happen, and it's always a good thing to be able to talk to somebody about it. However, just be careful what you do say, because things can be mandatory reported. So that's a bit of very useful information for you as well.